Rudy Giuliani giving a speech recently, and he's going to talk about President Obama and his lack of love for the country. He starts by saying, quote, "I know this is a horrible thing to say." Well, I would have stopped right there. See, when you start a paragraph that way, the best thing you could possibly do is to shut up. Because what you're about to say is probably going to get you in trouble, and it's probably the wrong thing to say. You just said it was horrible. All right, so let's find out what it is. He says, "But I do not believe that the president loves America. He doesn't love you, and he doesn't love me." That part might be true. "He wasn't brought up the way you were brought up, and I was brought up through love of this country." That is so wildly obnoxious. So on what basis would you say that he doesn't love the country? Or that he doesn't love? I mean, I don't know who you're talking to. If you're talking to other conservative douchebags, it's a good chance he doesn't love them either, okay? And neither do I. That doesn't mean we don't love the country. We love the country dearly. We love the idea of America dearly. We don't have to love every one of you guys. But the second part, to me, is actually more disturbing when he says he wasn't brought up the way you were brought up and I was brought up. He's different. This goes back to that same old stuff. You know, his father's from Kenya. I'm not quite sure where he's from, but I know his father's from Kenya, and he grew up in Indonesia at some point for a brief period of time. He wasn't brought up the same way as us. The idea that the president doesn't love the country is insanity, The only reason they say it is because they know that it works with their followers. Yeah, he looks different than us, right? Yeah, he's not the same as us. No, he doesn't love this country. It's gross. Now, on the idea of understanding foreign policy, Rudy Giuliani says, oh, he's the worst. Shocking. I thought he was going to say he was the best. Or maybe somewhere in the middle. No, he says, "I felt that from every American president," meaning that they understood foreign policy, including ones I disagreed with, including Jimmy Carter. So he's basically saying he's even worse than Carter. Can you imagine? Yeah, Carter was so bad in foreign policy. Oh, right. Remember when he did the peace deal that brought peace to Egypt and Israel between those two warring factions for decades? Yeah, boy, Carter really didn't know how to do foreign policy at all. All right, now, he adds fuel to the fire by afterwards saying, "You've got to be able to criticize Islam for the parts of Islam that are wrong. You criticize Christianity for the part of Christianity that is wrong." Oh, really? Okay, I'm looking forward to this. He says, "Well, I'm not sure how wrong the Crusades are. The Crusades were kind of an equal battle between two groups of barbarians, the Muslims and the crusading barbarians. What the hell? What's wrong with this man that he can't stand up and say there's a part of Islam that's sick?" Okay. So I recently wrote a piece on Huffington Post and elsewhere titled, "You Know You're a Bigot When." When you can't take the word Muslim out of a sentence and put in Jewish or Jew or Jews, it's a good sign, right? So if, for example, in that sentence you took out Muslims, and the very last one you said, what's wrong with this man that he can't stand up and say that there's a part of Judaism that's sick, right? In that case, Islam to Judaism. Well, most of the time he's talking about Muslims, and it gets even scarier. So for example, what I get a lot is, you're a Muslim apologist. And nobody blinks an eye. Nobody thinks that's a big deal. Now imagine you take out Muslim and put in Jewish. So you're a Jew apologist. Oh, that sounds horrible, right? Gives me a chill down my spine. Okay, let's switch it up. You're an apologist for the Jews. That didn't make it any better. Okay, so why is it perfectly acceptable to say, oh, the Muslims are sick? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not saying all of them. I'm just saying a part of Muslims are sick. And this guy, this Obama, who loves the Muslims but doesn't love America, he doesn't get it. Now, this is really, really ugly stuff. And I think we're not quite getting how ugly it is because it's become so commonplace, which makes it even uglier. That it's a minority. You're not going to lose any election by criticizing Muslims. In fact, you're probably likely to get more votes. So people pile on and pile on. It's not a good way to conduct our affairs, to do politics, to run our government. It's an ugly beast that is rising its head here. Not surprising that it comes in the form of Rudy Giuliani. Oh, by the way, before I get off that, who's going to back him up? Of course, Scott Walker. Now, he's not exactly backing him up. Look at this profile and courage here.
What do you think about those comments? Because they are raising a stir this morning.
Yeah, I mean,
The mayor can speak for himself. I'm not going to comment on what the president thinks or not. He can speak for himself as well. I'll tell you, I love America, and I think there are plenty of people, Democrat, Republican, Independent, everywhere in between, who love this country. I think we should talk about ways that we love this country and that we feel passionately about America, whether it's about making sure everyone can succeed and live the American dream, or whether it's talking to the people.
But did you agree with those comments? Did you agree with those comments? Were you offended by those comments? What was your reaction when you heard them?
I'm in New York. I'm used to people saying things that are
In other words, I'm going to punt. Okay, I'm not really going to tell you what I think about it, because if I tell you that Obama loves America, which is obvious, then I'm going to lose my conservative base, who thinks he's he's a foreigner, and hates this country. So, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to get in trouble. So I'll just say, I have no opinion on it.